It's tempting to think that an author just decides to write a book, sits down and writes it, and I suppose most people would realise that anything with any historical content will need some research. Well, I don't think anyone really understands how much research is actually involved. You have to cross-check and look at lots of different sources, and these books on display are just a few that I used in following up on Gulag to Spitfire, which might seem strange because it's the story of my father. Now, my father told me an awful lot about Siberia over the years and his service in the Royal Air Force, but even so, I had to double-check it. Some of the things he got plainly wrong, others were a bit of an exaggeration, and a lot of stuff he underplayed and never told me at all, and I had to find out by other means, particularly from my mother. So books are really important, and books teach us a lot, far more than any downloads. There's something about handling a book. I must say, when I wrote Gulag to Spitfire, obviously I became very familiar with the text, very familiar, even when I rounded the pages to double check them. But when I finally felt that book in my hand, it was like something new, and I had to start to read it all over again. I even thought to myself, wow, this is different. It was almost as if I hadn't written it. Now, POSC very kindly invited me to do a talk about Gulag to Spitfire, and they have a bookshop, an excellent bookshop, with a huge variety of books, many of them in Polish, and they run from such characters as Joseph Conrad, which might surprise a lot of English people to know he was a Pole, right way through various classics to, of course, inevitably accounts of Polish exiles in Siberia and World War II. And I will leave you with this last thought. Many of you will be familiar with Polish families who lived here after the war, and their children and their grandchildren, in some cases their great-grandchildren, who've been completely integrated, and perhaps some of them speak Polish. Regrettably, I'm not one of them. And they will have a Polish name, which may or may not have been anglicised. And few will realise the contribution that they have made to British society. Yet this very nearly didn't happen. In 1946, there was an opinion poll in which 56% of the population said they wanted the Poles to be sent back, which in most cases meant they would have been shot. And I'm not kidding about that, so I suggest you do some reading up about Stalin and the post-war years to understand that. So please browse through the excellent bookshop at POSC. Come to the talk on February the 23rd at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'd like to see you, and I know the people at POSC will be grateful to see you as well. POSC is situated in King Street, Hammersmith, almost opposite the large Premier Inn. So, hope to see you there.